Pot-au-Feu, one of the most traditional recipes in French cuisine. A typical fall and winter dish, and since we got our first snow yesterday in Indiana, we thought it would be the perfect time to share this recipe. Pot-au-Feu is quintessential to modern French cuisine and is one of our national dishes. Until the 18th century, this dish was exclusively regarded as poor man's food before it was adopted and elevated by the bourgeoisie. It was one of the only ways the lower working class could afford to eat meat. Many families would always have a pot-au-feu simmering over a fire. They continuously ate from it and added more ingredients to it, usually whatever was available. Sometimes the only meat they could afford was offcuts and bones that rich people did not want. Simmering the stuffed cuts for hours made them tender and allowed nutrients to be extracted into the broth. This method is not exclusive to French cuisine. Many cultures have figured out this way of making nutritious broth out of scraps. When pot-au-feu was adopted by the richer class, they added finer cuts. Today, this dish is on the menu of many French restaurants and has been revisited by many French chefs. For our recipe today, we have a mix of cheaper cuts, like beef shank and neck bones, and fancier ones, like oxtail and marrow bones. The other ingredients that you will need are potatoes, turnips, leeks, celery, carrots, peppercorn, cloves, and bouquet garni, which includes parsley, thyme, and bay leaves. We have soaked all the meat and bones in salty cold water for 3 hours. This helps draw out blood and impurities. Along with parboiling, this will result in a cleaner broth. Let's get cooking.
First, we are going to parboil the meat. To do so, we are adding all the pieces in a large pot. We are adding 2 handfuls of coarse salt and covering with cold water. We will bring the pot to a boil, which in our case took about 15 minutes. As the water gets warmer, scum will form at the top. If the pot is at risk of overflowing, I suggest to scoop some of the scum out. Once the water is boiling, keep it going for 3 more minutes, then drain the water and rinse well the meat. Grab the onion and cut it in half. Next, stick the cloves into the onion. We do so to not lose them in the pot later on. It is now time for our first simmer. Make sure to choose a pot large enough to accommodate all the ingredients, including the vegetables. We use 7 liters of cold water, but this quantity is flexible. Just remember, the more water, the more delicious broth you'll have. We bring the pot to a boil, then reduce to low and simmer uncovered for 2 hours. If more scum or some fat forms, you can scoop it out. Next, we are going to prep all the vegetables. We want them to have homogeneous sizes so that they cook evenly. We cut our carrots in pieces of 5 centimeters wide, and one of them was a bit thick, so we cut it lengthwise as well. For the turnips, we just peel them and cut them in half. For the celery, we use the thicker stems only, and we cut them in pieces of 5 centimeters. Lastly, we cut the leeks in pieces of 5 centimeters as well. We didn't cut lengthwise so that they keep their shape. After 2 hours of simmering, it is now time to add our vegetables. Now we will keep simmering for another hour. In the meantime, rinse your potatoes and cut them in half or quarters depending on their sizes. After our pot has been simmering for another hour, we can now add the marrow bones and the potatoes and remove the bouquet garni. We will keep simmering the pot for 30 minutes or until the potatoes are cooked. Use the tip of a knife to check on them. When they are cooked, you can remove the pot from the stove and serve in deep plates. Chop some parsley and sprinkle on top. Serve with mustard and cornichons if you like. I cannot wait for you to taste the tender cuts of beef. Bon appétit!
Normally we will eat this with cornichon and some mustard. Let's taste. The meat is perfect, very tender. Some mustard.
I hope you will enjoy making and eating our pot-au-feu recipe this coming winter season. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for more Vietnamese and French recipes.